So this is our third installment looking at the Great Reset. This is this unity of the most powerful corporations in the world uniting together with presidents, prime ministers, and so forth, rulers of the earth, also uniting with the papacy, and they have this plan. Now, will it take place? I have no idea, but we're going to talk about what to do to potentially avoid, at least in your own life, for as long as possible, how to avoid getting sucked in personally to the Great Reset. Hey everybody, Chad Cruiser here with Health and Homestead, and the very first thing that I would suggest doing for yourself financially is learning to live on less than you make. Because we're living in a society, especially in places like the United States, where many people are spending every dollar that they make and then some. They're in debt. They have a negative net worth. One of the first things you want to learn to do is learn to live on less than you make. That means you don't need every new cell phone that comes out. You don't need every new computer or camera or car or house or whatever it is, but simply learning to live on less than you make. Number 2 is to get out of debt as fast as you can. And so what does that mean? That means to pay down your debts faster than their general concluding date. And you say, why? Maybe they will pay them off for me. Maybe I'll just wait for the government to do it. And they might do it for you. It sounds great, doesn't it? But the trouble is, they also might want something from you if they take care of you. So I would challenge you to do everything you can to get out of debt. Pay your car off early if you're paying on a car, or pay your house off early, or mortgage as early as possible. I have a whole video on how to do that, and so you don't want to miss that. But paying your debt off makes you freer. Number 3 is to learn to live a healthy lifestyle, eating, exercising, drinking the right thing, which is generally water for most people. And living a healthy lifestyle, number 1, will make you less likely to have to spend money and less likely to be entrapped to a system that has to take care of you. If you can learn to live healthy so you can take care of yourself, you're going to simply be in a better place. Number 4 is that you want to learn natural remedies that really work. And that's one of the things that's very important on this channel, Health and Homestead. That's one of the things we look at. We look at scientific studies comparing head-to-head drug medication with natural remedies in the scientific literature. These are evidence-based studies where they've compared natural remedies to the drug medication and found them often to be just as good or better with significantly less side effects, and also almost all of the time they're going to be much cheaper. They're going to be things that you could grow on your own property, so that in time of difficulty you don't even have to necessarily go to the doctor if you're able to use some of these remedies. And so you want to learn about those, and I have a whole video series. I have some on my channel. I have a video series I'll have down in the description also. Number 5 is to learn to grow your own food. By growing your own food, number 1, it's healthier. You also are less dependent on somebody else. We're all dependent on farmers as long as we don't grow our own food. And in difficult times, growing your own food is going to be very important. And the World Economic Forum, in one of their articles, talks about how this is going to be a thing around 2030, that there will be independent-minded people who will still be out in the country, and they're going to be raising their own provisions. They're going to be leaguing together, working together, and these kind of things. That's what they're expecting. Will it happen like they say? I have no idea, but this is what they are suggesting, and I would like to be one of those free people, at least as long as possible, out in the country. Number 6 is to learn to live a healthy lifestyle. If you're eating right, if you're exercising well, you're getting water instead of all kinds of other drinks, you're going to be healthier, you're going to be happier, you're going to be less likely to have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, all kinds of health issues, and those things make you more prone to be dependent upon a system. Once again, yes, there are some natural remedies that you can do for that, but living a healthy lifestyle will make you less of a dependent. Number 7 is very important. It is to seek more independent employment, finding ways to make a living or streams of income that don't depend completely on somebody else. I'm not saying everybody can do this, but the more you learn to do this, and when you move to the country, for most people out in the country, it becomes almost a necessity to find a way to have a a job, some kind of career, whatever it is. I mean, all kinds of people in the country, they're splitting wood, they're growing food, they're doing mechanical work, or they're maybe an electrician, various different fields, or I mean, you could even be in medicine in the country, but seeking to be more self-sufficient is a noble aim. It is something that can be helpful to your family, and it makes you less locked into a system of somebody else saying, your job is no longer necessary. Many people over the last few years found out that their job was the so-called non-essential job, and you largely will get to choose that if you are more independent. Number 8 is learn new skills and don't just waste your whole life with entertainment. And what do I mean by that? Today people just waste time on television all the time or just surfing the web, but using those precious hours of your life to learn practical skills, to learn, like we said, maybe to grow your own food, how to work on your car, how to maybe do a little bit of electrical work, or whatever it is. There's all kinds of things, or maybe it's some kind of craft, or maybe it's how to be a better cook, to live a healthier lifestyle. There's so many wonderful things that you can learn to do instead of wasting your time. In these next few years that we have ahead of us, those who are the most practical, I believe, are going to have the greatest experience in the coming years ahead. Number 9, I would suggest that the closer we get to the years that are coming, that you would consider when the ripe opportunity arises to prepare to move to the country. Because there is an independence in the country that you simply cannot have in the city, or at least it's significantly more independence for individuals who live in the country than those who reside in the city. If you haven't seen my video yet on what the Great Reset is calling people who live in the country and live independent, they call them the discontents. And as I've already said in my videos before, I show research that shows that no, actually people who live in the country are actually more content, they're happier than people that live in the city. But once again, they're expecting people are going to be living out there and they're going to be more independent. And so I would suggest the closer we get to the upcoming years, if you're a person who wants to, you get to do whatever you want, but I would suggest you learn to be independent by being out in the country. I'll put a link to that in the end of this video. Number 10 is to become a diligent, hard worker. You see, living in the country is not easy work. It's not like living in the city or in the suburbs. And yes, if you have a lot of money now, you can pay people to come do all kinds of things for you, and that's great. If you have the funds to do it. Nothing wrong with that. Like I said, I seek to grow as much food as possible. I split my own wood, so I heat my house by myself and these kind of things. And so all of these things are very important. Being diligent is a necessity if you're going to live in the country, not hoping somebody else will do it all for you. Number 11 is to seek to be a part of the local economy. What do I mean by that? That means that, maybe you go to farmers markets, maybe you go there to buy things, or you go there to sell things, or maybe you have some kind of cottage industry where you are learning to make soaps or crafts or whatever it is. By learning to do these things, number 1, people really appreciate. They love coming in contact with the person who actually made their clothing or grew their own food. And not only that, that makes us a part of the community that lives around us. And this is going to be extremely helpful, especially if you are a person who does end up living in the country. This is a very beneficial thing to seek to be a part of the local community and the local economy. And number 12. This one you may not be expecting, but I would actually suggest that what we're seeing, one of the people in my comment section, he said, whether you're religious or non-religious, people are noticing the things that are taking place right now seem to be like what the book of Revelation says. I would suggest to you that you read the good book. Actually, I read it the first time because of an atheist. An atheist actually challenged me, made me look like a fool, and I read the Bible through for the first time because of him. It literally changed my life. I'm so thankful for him. And what he did change my life by getting me to read it. I would challenge you that go look at what is there in the book of Revelation. Unbelievable. Chapter 17, chapter 18, very fascinating about the kings of the earth coming together with the merchants of the earth, leaguing together with a power, with the city of 7 hills. Ooh, interesting. Go check it out for yourself. You'll see that what was prophesied 2,000 years ago, evidently it seems like we're living in a time where that could slowly come about. So I would challenge you to check it out for yourself. I would suggest that you do your best to avoid UBI. I'm going to have a video for that. Actually, I'm going to have two videos right here on this. So we're going to have one on how to avoid UBI, or the need to potentially avoid UBI. And I also want to share with you the video that we did on the Great Reset and country living. Fascinating information. You don't want to miss that. God bless and have a fantastic day.